We have a presentation from Mary at the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities. That's all that you've missed. I apologize, we were muted.
Thank you, everyone. Good evening. My name is Mary Golgier, and I am the manager of the Major Unusual Incident Department for the Cuyahoga County Board of Developmental Disabilities. I'm also a resident of Olmsted Township. I'd like to take just a few minutes to introduce you to Cuyahoga DD and the work that we do. Our mission is to support, empower people with developmental disabilities to live, learn, work, and play in their communities. We support more than 14,000 people with developmental disabilities in Cuyahoga County, last year serving approximately 70 people in the township. 2/3 of our $150 million budget comes from a $3.9 million continuous levy that was passed by Cuyahoga voters in 2005. From birth through adulthood, we support people with DD to live their best lives. We provide things like early intervention services, therapies like occupational and physical therapy and speech language pathology, consultative services to support students in schools, transition services for young adults, housing and employment supports, and assistive technology services. We have positioned the agency as a leader in the state when it comes to supporting people with disabilities to live, learn, work, and play in their communities. Here's a few notable examples. In 2023, we launched a program at Cleveland State University called CSU Rise, which aims to give students with disabilities a typical college experience while ensuring they're supported in ways that will help them be successful in college and beyond. We're doing innovative work in housing. In 2022, we launched our TriTech Smart Apartments in Lakewood that allows adults with disabilities the opportunity to live with and determine what types of technology and adaptive equipment can help them live as independently as they want. Later this year, we will be opening our first tiny home for people with disabilities. The tiny home will give someone the independence they want, the security of knowing they can socialize or seek support from the provider staff simply by walking across the yard to the main house. We partner with other youth-serving agencies like Department of Children and Family Services, the Adams Board, and the Family and Children Affairs Council to support young people in crisis. Together in 2022, we opened the T-Suites, and we are active planning partners in the County Children's Wellness Campus. We invest in communities in new ways. Since 2021, we have granted $700,000 to support 50 community libraries, arts and culture, and recreation leisure organizations, making their programs in physical spaces accessible for people of all abilities. We have allocated over $200,000. We have allocated over $200,000 for grants in 2024. And while not in the township, the Falls was able to use some of those grants to make some of their space more accessible. So very close to home here. In addition to our work supporting people with disabilities in Cuyahoga County, we strive to be a resource for communities. We welcome the opportunity to talk more about how we can best support the residents of this township. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mary. Very good. With that, we'll move on to public comment related to the agenda. I believe all of the public comment I've received so far is related to the agenda. And I'll say it one last time, if you wish to speak and you've not yet filled out a public comment form, you got it, Donna. Just bring it right on up and we'll make sure you're recognized. So with that, we'll start with Mr. Frank Poyman at Columbia Park. And I believe your public comment is there any way that Olmsted Township can help us with our dangerous sidewalk problem that was first brought to our attention by Trustee Crest over a year ago? Do you want to add to that or have anything else?
Not really. I spoke to Mr. Reed this afternoon, and if there's any laws on the books to push our private property owners into fixing their sidewalks, they're in a dangerous situation, and Mr. Reed signified that there really is nothing by the law that the township can do. I'm just here to ask for if there's anything that the trustees can do as a gesture to our owners to try to get it to the next step. We're taking steps on our own to try to make this happen, but trying to find some other possibilities to make this work. Some of those sidewalks are pretty bad for our walkers.
Yeah. No, thank you, Frank. We appreciate you being here and for your passion for the park and our community. Well, for the legal portion of it, in terms of what the township can do, I'll defer to Law Director Matthews. I know regulation of manufactured home parks is, a very complex portion of the state law. But I will say, as a member of the board, and I'm sure my colleagues would agree, I don't see any reason why we couldn't write a letter to the park management, expressing some concerns and advocating on your behalf in terms of the conditions of the sidewalk. And I would just ask that if that's something you'd be interested in, that you work with Administrator Yowanowski so that we can make that happen in a timely manner. But I'll let Jim add if he has anything to add.
Was anything filed with the Department of Commerce yet? Any complaint, anything lodged?
No, there's nothing in the ORC about sidewalks. It goes into the category of safety.
Well, again, though, but under the general auspices of the control of the Department of Commerce, you could probably at least lodge a complaint there and see if they do anything. What's nice is we have a nice contact with their chief counsel. So if you want us to just send an email apprising her of the situation, see if there's anything she can do, we can certainly do that.
Let me run that past our president and see what she wants to do.
If you would, and then just let Gary know, and Gary can communicate with me, and we'll take it from there, Frank.
Okay.
Chairman, can I ask a question? Is this in a specific location in the park or is it spread throughout?
Every place where there's sidewalk with where the tree ruts,
Okay, so
they're bringing them up like this and.
okay, is it like where wheelchairs and stuff you couldn't get
Yeah,
past?
and people with these electric scooters,
Mm.
walkers.
Great idea. Yeah, we appreciate you bringing it to our attention. We'll be sure to
Thank you for
look into it further. Yeah. And I know you have a second public comment here, which is why is the home on Elizabeth after 2.5 years from a fire still standing? Shouldn't that be demolished? I know that Administrator Yowanowski has worked on this. Yeah.
So Frank, I'm asking a question, right? So the township just received the insurance money about 2 months ago. So I don't know how familiar you are with that process, but basically the house was determined a total loss. The insurance company cut the township a check to go ahead and either secure the building or demolish it. The owner was having some legal issues with his mortgage and stuff. I think everything's kind of finally figured out, I think. He's actually in the process of trying to sell it. So I worked with Law Director Matthews to basically draft up an agreement with the new owners to go ahead and, so they would basically submit that money that the insurance company submitted to us. And we will return that money to the insurer who owns the house, who's actually selling it. And we make sure those repairs are done. So it's a couple months away.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, there's a long history with it. I'd be more than, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. You could call me offline and we could go through the history of it, so.
All right. Thank you. Next up, it looks like we have Michael from Pride One in Medina, Ohio.
I don't have any comments.
Okay, all right, very good. Well, you're on hand for questions. Very good. Next up, we have Ms. Kathy Clem with, I believe you said zoning changes and taxes. You're welcome to speak and elaborate.
Yes, meeting tonight is about the fact that you guys are you changing the zoning down in that one property? Or are you gonna keep it at the way it is with the commercial?
There are two resolutions on the agenda on this topic. Yes.
Yeah, you guys, to me, the township has no business changing something to, put it to residential, it's already commercial. And you guys are just putting, the traffic, want to make sure that you're all considering the traffic problem you're gonna have. Traffic at Stearns there and Bagley's gonna be terrible. I mean, put something in there, I mean, it's bad now. It can be really bad. I mean, I hope all this is being taken into consideration on some drainage that we're lacking in the township.
Thank you.
That's it.
Appreciate your comments. Thank you. Any? Very good. Next up, we have Ms. Ann Riadney also from Columbia Park, about resolutions 76 and 77.
Yeah, I give my minutes to Larry Howard.
Okay. Next, we have Ms. Jennifer Mackert from 9073 Aaron Lane, I believe in Woodgate, regarding Stearns Road.
Yes, thank you. So I do apologize. I've been traveling a little late in the game. Some of these things may have already been addressed, but I did want to just come on record. Definite, very high concerns about putting the apartments in that area. One is traffic, which was just alluded to. Secondly, not sure if there's been any analysis on the impact to the schools. I mean, I don't know the amount of tax revenue that would be generated compared to the expenditures that the schools would have to take on for all those students. I feel like we have a good district now with bursting at the seams. I cannot imagine, I think passing others is tough, you know, adding additional burdens on the kids would just create a further impact. I know this is a school board meeting, but obviously that affects property values. You want to have a good school in the district, et cetera, et cetera. And just finally, I'm not exactly certain what, you know, these are drawbacks. I know there's always pros and cons. I'm not exactly certain what adding that type of apartment building, what benefits would have to the township. I don't see any in conversations with neighbors. Again, I'm not a women's spokesperson, but I am just saying that I'm echoing many concerns that I've had. So again, this might have already been addressed, but just wanted to put on record that I'm not a proponent of that resolution at all.
I appreciate you being here, and the board appreciates your comment. I certainly agree that the emphasis should be on commercial, and I think when the zoning commission made its recommendation for approval, there were several conditions, and when we get to that resolution, I'll read those conditions, but your comments are noted, and I will say that this is but one step in the process. This would be preliminary plan approval. Before we get to final plan approval, we certainly should have much clearer answers on several of the issues that you brought up. I think that, to me, the most pressing one is traffic, and I know there's a traffic study underway. And I do also want to make you aware there are actually two totally separate proposals in terms of zoning changes. I believe Ms. Clem was talking about the Bronson Road one, but I think the point is certainly valid for both.
Thank you. Again, I would echo that. I mean, I think it's common sense with that volume. Obviously, traffic in an already pretty congested area is going to be significant. So,
Thank you for your comments.
Can I just make?
Yeah.
So there's really only one zoning change?
Yeah.
And that's the one on Bronson.
Yes, yeah, thank you.
The other one
That's
is
important clarification. Yeah,
Me too.
preliminary plan, yeah, approval, not zoning change. Good. Ronald Paul, from 27375 Bagley Road. Wetlands and drainage. You're welcome to
Yes.
speak, Mr. Paul.
Based on the meeting that the last public hearing was on the first, I was under the impression that we were informed that the wetlands was taken care of. I want to know if that's accurate or not accurate. Has the wetlands been taken care of? It's shown on the plan, 3 retention basins. And I want to know if that has been resolved. That's what we were told at the meeting. I think the minutes will verify it. Is that correct?
Is this for which property? Is
For
it the,
Bronson Road, for the Redwood?
I think we have representatives from Redwood here, yes? Would you like to field that question?
Yes, can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
I have a bad foot, so I really don't want to get up. Yes, actually, at the last meeting, the last trustees meeting, we talked about that. And what I told them is that with the wetlands, we would have to mitigate them. And for every 2 acres, for every 1 acre that we build, we have to mitigate 2 to 2.5 acres. And so we will be filling probably 3 acres of wetland, but we'll be making probably more like 5 acres of wetland elsewhere in the same bank area. So yes, and whether it's redwood or whether it's much like low, like what is it, light industrial, they're all going to impact the wetlands. They're going to have to do the exact same thing.
I understand that, but the question is, do you have a JD approval from the Buffalo district?
No, we do not. We are in the process of getting our permit, but we'll not go forward with that because it's about a $25,000 fee. I'm sure you know that.
It's about a 500 deal.
No, actually, it's like 18 months. And we will go forward with that once we get it, if we get our rezoning, which hopefully we will tonight. Then we'll move forward with that when we go through site plan approval.
I would just like to read something that I received from the Army Corps of Engineers on a project that I was involved in.
Sure.
And it's from the Department of Army, Buffalo District Corps of Engineers Regulatory Branch. Subject, approved jurisdictional determination for Department of Army processing. Mr. Ronald Paul, I have reviewed your request for approved jurisdictional determination for the 24-acre subject parcel. Enclosed is an approved JD, which verifies the limits of waters of the United States within the subject parcel as depicted on the plans. The approved JD remains valid for a period of 5 years from the date of correspondence unless new information warrants revision of the approved JD before the expiration date. At the end of this period, the new aquatic resources delineation JD will be required. I have determined the following aquatic resources are not waters of the U.S. and the wetlands shown, therefore, do not come under regulatory description located in section 404 of the Clean Water Act or section 10 of the Rivers and Harbors Act. The Department of Army authorization is not required if you propose work or propose a discharge of dredged or filled material in these aquatic resources. And it goes on. But to get a permit is quite elaborate. And so I got some statements associated with what I received and what was being told. The zoning request significantly exceeds the normal residential runoff requirements. The removal of the site trees and construction of impervious areas potentially increases the runoff that may exceed 85% because the site is going to be totally stripped of the trees and the rest of the site is either going to be pavement, roofs, or grass. So that's going to increase that by about 85% is what's estimated. And the potential increase impacts the 100-year storm as well. The Army Corps of Engineers required the aquatic wetland delineation studies for the site development to determine if the wetlands may be considered waters of the U.S. and may be regulated under Section 404 of the Clean Water Act and Section 10. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because it's associated with French Creek. And the Army Corps of Engineers may decide that French Creek is waters of the United States. And if that's the case, there's going to be a major improvement that's going to be required. Further, it is apparent that the stormwater drainage ditch along the westerly property, along my westerly property line, that discharges into French Creek, along with the junction chamber constructed by the Cuyahoga County engineers, has been there for more than 50 years. It appears that the ditch in the junction chamber was constructed for the New York Central Railroad beyond the railroad right of way. And therefore, it was constructed to take it to French Creek and also to relieve flooding. The county engineer's office researched the construction for me and advised me that the project did not include the ditch construction. So the ditch was either there or was being constructed at the same time. Further, township does not claim to have done any construction to French Creek. So what is the answer to that? I've had people from the service department come out and they say it had nothing to do with that ditch. They didn't build it, but yet the county, Cuyahoga County, built a junction chamber to accommodate that ditch. So when we're talking about dealing with a 100-year storm, and we're talking about dealing with a ditch and nobody's maintaining it, how is that going to work for this project?
Thank you for your comments. I will allow Administrator Yolanowski or Commissioner Reed or Director Williams. I think you're all invoked in some way, shape, or form in those comments. So if any of you want to speak, you're more than welcome to do so. I don't want to get into a back and forth, either between anybody in the audience or on the board. But if folks from Redwood are interested in addressing, any of the concerns that were raised, I know they're present. And after, individuals from the township speak, should they so choose, we will recognize you.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. So Ron, understand and I appreciate all your concerns and comments. I just want everybody to remember, this is the initial step. This is for a rezoning. There are many, many more steps that have to come after this. I think the applicant is gonna go through the entire process and throughout that process, some of your questions will be answered. Eric and I would be more than happy to meet you out on the property and specifically talk about what you were referring to. I don't have any inherent knowledge of that, so I can speak to that, but we'd be more than happy to get together and meet with you.
Eric, good. Justin, good.
My name is Matt Duck. I work for DB Resources Group. We are the engineer and surveyor for the project. So to try to address a couple of your questions, the wetland JD, that will be part of the process. It's just, we're not there yet. The rezoning would be the first step in that. So I can assure you that no work, we would never get any sort of approval without getting a JD. And if the project goes forward and wetlands are impacted, all of that will be looked at, and you have to get a permit. That, you're right, takes a long time. And I think you are also correct, the JD typically lasts 5 years. So that will all be done. It's just, we're not there yet in that process. So once we are there, we obviously will share with the township all of that info. That'll be a part of the approval process. As far as the stormwater management, you are correct. It will create more runoff, but that is the purpose of the stormwater management. So that's why we're showing 3 ponds as of now. The purpose of those ponds is when it rains, it collects, it holds it, and it slowly releases it out at a lower rate. So,
Well, my point was, where's the discharge going to be? Because it doesn't show that on the plan. And if the discharge is going to be into that creek that goes to French Creek, and nobody wants to take care of it, then what happens?
I don't think we're to the point yet of knowing exactly where everything's going to discharge, but again, that would be part of the next step of getting into full engineering. So again, that would be shared with you. But the whole purpose of stormwater management is the flow rates leaving that site post-construction will need to be less than pre-construction. So that's will be part of the review process. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here. Next up, we have Mr. Larry Abbott, 9636 Grand Oaks Drive.
Thank you. Yeah, this is concerning both resolutions 76 and 77. I respectfully ask that you vote no on both of these resolutions as they are written. Both of these go against the master plan, regardless of what they say. Nowhere within that document does it provide for additional land areas for apartment style housing within this township. Reason's very simple. Your constituents do not want it. I'm sure there are lots of reasons. We've heard a bunch already. I'm going to iterate on one of them at least, that I think is the biggest. One of the biggest reasons is because apartments bring a lot of children, and these children obviously feed into an already overburdened school system. Schools will need to expand and will therefore need more money. And guess where that money comes from in this township. So no fact, single family homeowners pay a lot more in property taxes per child than any family makes up for in rent living in apartments. As you know, in the township, about 65% of our property tax money goes straight to the schools. And as soon as they come back for an expansion, that just means our taxes are already going to go up. The only part of resolution 76 that actually conforms to the master plan are the couple of retail spots that they are allotting. I'm sure that was only put in there to entice you to change the zoning. I know you're saying that that's not a zoning change. I argue it absolutely is a zoning change because it is not zoned for residential in any way, shape, or form. all along the township a spot to keep additional apartment complexes out. In areas such as Sharp and Shady. That was going to be apartments a long time ago. Township 5. The area between the schools, between the high school and the middle school along the turnpike. Apartments, we've got them in court. We've had them in court for a long time. I'm asking that you don't stop that fight now. One of my fears is that by allowing this, you're opening yourself up to changes such as what the Hollows are asking for. Because here we are changing our zoning. I fear that basically will just give them more ammunition. If you decide to change the zoning, I humbly ask that you tell us, your citizens, why, because we keep hearing the negatives. But nowhere have I heard a single positive, unless your name happens to be Gallagher or Shaker. And what time I had, if I may, I have a, real quick, probably have one copy. You got in section 76 or in resolution 76, you went through and spelled out some codes, zoning codes that you say you're conforming to. So all I'm doing here, the first page is just some arguments pulling out of those sections. The rest of it part of the actual zoning sections themselves. Looking at section 260.04D, item 2 says that it provides adequate transition between more intense retail and lower density residential. I'm not sure apartments fall into that category. 260.07, permitted principal uses. There's not even the category for apartments. The only thing permitted is single family dwellings, which refers to multiple owners under the same roof.
I'm gonna call.
That doesn't apply to a single owner that's renting out all these apartments. 260.09, density and intensity standards. Schedule A, item 2 says the maximum gross residential density is 7. I don't know about you, but I get a lot more families in an apartment than 7 on for that density for the acreage. 290.05, TCPD mixed use developments says it must advance the goals and policies of the Olmsted Township Comprehensive Plan. And again, my belief is this does not fall within that plan whatsoever. Section A1, high activity uses such as retail are encouraged on the first floor, with uses such as offices and residential encouraged on floors above ground level. Again, those are just words straight out of the codes that you guys spell out in your resolution. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your comments. I believe most of those comments were directed towards the Pride 1 development, if not all. Michael, I don't know if you have any comments you wish to share at this time about the compliance of Pride 1's proposal with the comprehensive plan and the zoning.
Yeah, I guess the one that stuck out was the 7 units an acre. We're below 7 units an acre. We're at 6.26 units an acre. So we do comply with that. And I mean, we reviewed the comprehensive plan, we reviewed the zoning code. It is allowed for attached dwelling units. It doesn't specify whether they're for sale or for rent. But for sale, for attached units are allowed. And low density residential to us is single story or 2-story apartments, not 3, 4, or 5-story apartments, which we didn't propose. Given all the wetland issues with the property, we did our best to incorporate as much commercial and retail as we could without putting any along Stearns due to the traffic concerns. But a lot of the project in the land is dictated due to parts we've been given with the wetland area and what we're able to do.
Anybody else have anything to add to that? Yeah. Good. Thank you for your comments. Next up, we have Leo Jansen from 9635 Kingston Trail, Olmsted Township. Thanks for joining us, Leo.
Hi, I've been wanting to come over and be here for a while, so I'm finally here.
Welcome.
I have an office in North Olmsted. I'm the owner of Energy Efficient Homes for Less. I do energy testing for new construction. I would just encourage the, board of trustees, to consider mandating that these, new home constructions, if they go through, comply to at least the most recent, released version of the International Energy Conservation Code, the 2021 version, not the 2019 RCO that's in the books currently. Even better, again, considering this is going to be apartments and more than likely it's not going to be for homeowners that can't yet achieve the dream of home ownership. Require that the homes built to either an Energy Star or zero energy ready standard in order to ensure that their energy bills are much more in control. It's a lower cost for them with a renter.
Thank you, Leo. I appreciate the thoughtful comments. I think those are definitely things that we can consider making conditional and final plan approval if we get there with both these projects. Anybody else have anything to add? Oh, good. Next up, we have Ms. Donna Winter, 27045 Glenside.
I'm here, don't really like to speak out, but, I was one of the members who worked on the master plan, comprehensive master plan that you referred to, with both resolution 76 and 77. I believe that both of these plans directly with what we had discussed, what we put into that plan. Looking at resolution 76, from what I don't really know, but talking about adding apartments in town center, gifting or above businesses, that was discussed. But our general, purpose of town center was to bring businesses and to offset taxes to our community. I do not see anything, I haven't seen anything, maybe it'll be addressed later. The percentage of businesses that are actually in relation to related to the community. As far as resolution 77, to amend a zoning resolution away from businesses to residential is exactly the direct opposite of what we had discussed in the master plan. And also, as residents and our taxes, everyone is looking for you leaders to bring business to our community and not to bring more residents. I also believe that this is going to open the township up to, we already currently have people who are, we're in litigation with, or who are asking you to amend the master plan for their development to bring more houses into a smaller location. We're going to open ourselves to more opportunities for developers to question the master plan, to question you, and to make those amendments. I also ask you, as many have, they talk about bringing families here, and you continue to bring families here without amenities. So one of them has been addressed, which is schools. Obviously, that doesn't fall under the township, but we are all aware that's where our tax money goes. And if they look to have to build for more families, it falls on the homeowners. Recreation is something else that people move here, and it's discussed in great detail in the master plan. And currently, while there's a new dog park, and I appreciate it, and park on Usher, there's no recreation in this community that's really provided by the township. Some of the discussion was that some of the families moving in are generally older. Again, there's no recreation provided for even our older community. There's not racquetball, there's not racquetball, or like pickleball. There's not a facility, and what we do have in this community is maxed out, and our kids are having to go elsewhere to play and to find services. We're also going to be taxing our safety services, which are maxed out, and we've done what we can to bring on new officers and new fire for them, but we're just adding more families to that. I just believe that our goal has been and should remain to bring businesses to our community to offset the tax burden on our homeowners. And I believe that both of these resolutions are in direct conflict with that goal. Thank you.
Thank you, Donna. I appreciate your comments. I will say, before you got here, we had a special public hearing where we discussed applying for grants for a variety of things, including pickleball courts, racquetball courts. We've added 2 parks in the last several years, which is 2 more parks that have ever been added in the history of Olmsted Township. And I, for one, just want to say on the record that I will never support building a rec center that only our township taxpayers are supposed to foot the bill for, when it's going to also be used by residents of Olmsted Township. So I just want that to be made clear as day for a lot of folks. And I just try not to be too frustrated up here, but I would appreciate if folks would not insinuate that the board members do not know the zoning codes that they're voting on. I will say that significant due diligence has gone into both of these requests, and I appreciate that everybody wants to play Monday morning quarterback, and you're certainly welcome to do so. But I hope that when the board makes decisions, people will respect those decisions. So with that, we have our last public comment. It's from Mary Vetta, 24526 New Bottom Road.
Okay, I'm not gonna go necessarily in order, but regarding resolution 77, I respect that it was zoned light industrial. We don't have anything in there going in light industrial. The owners of that land have rights to try to get money for their land. So are they gonna wait for light industrial to come for how long? Or are they going to attempt to annex to North Ridgeville, and then we'll have the apartments there anyway? That's what happened with Hollows. I know they brought Hollows up. Hollows got turned down. They went to Berea. Luckily, Berea sewers and their infrastructure could not handle it. But if Berea's sewers and infrastructure could have handled it, it was going to Berea. So this land here, as much as you'd like it to stay in light industrial, those owners can do whatever they want with it. And they want to go to North Ridgeville, they can go to North Ridgeville. As far as also talking about taxing them under a JED for 2%. Residents there in that new apartment building. I don't understand why people would oppose that, because we're trying to explore revenue sources to help our property taxes. So why would you be against those people that are living there paying 2% income tax? That I don't understand at all. I mean, if they don't want to pay 2% income tax, they can buy a house in the township that doesn't have income tax. But if they're living in those apartments and they choose to live in those apartments, that's part of what's living in those apartments as any other city. So my thoughts are, I understand the people that are around here. Believe me, I'm around the Hollow thing. And I understand they want to keep it that way, but that landowner has a right to get the highest and best use for his land. And not just sit on it, because otherwise you're making his land worthless. And luckily, like I said, Berea didn't annex. But if Berea would have annexed, that would be where Hollows are. And I'm afraid that's what will happen here.
Thank you. Your comments are noted.
And then let me just say on 76, that also I'm going to say the same thing. If it conforms to our plan, and again, these owners, they want to use this property, they want to develop the property. I like kind of the idea of having a town center. I mean, I might be visualizing way too far, but you could have like a food truck thing going on there, or stuff where we can go. Okay, right now, we've got the dog park and we've got the other park. But you look at Olmsted Falls and they've got their village park and all this stuff where their community gets to. This would be township community. And there's a lot more to it than just talking about apartments and commercial things and stuff like that. But again, that property owner would like to make money on his property. And I think everybody that owns a house here, if you own a house and somebody comes up to you and says, I want to give you $1 million for your house, you're not going to say no. You're just not. So they want to have the best use out of their property. And again, I don't know, I think that there's income taxes involved with that, which again would come into our community, possibly offsetting some of the safety forest issues. So that's it.
Thank you for your comments. I'll say I definitely agree with the joint economic development district portion that you said, and I think I've tried to stress that to both of the developers, and I hope that they take that into consideration. With that, we will move on to the remainder of our agenda. I should say that concludes public comment. Hopefully I'm not missing anybody. Everybody get to say their piece. Great. We'll move on next to our township administrator for his report, Administrator Yonowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. This is my report. Just want to say, last Tuesday we had a significant weather event. I think we had a total of 5 tornadoes, I believe, touched down and confirmed. So I just want to extend a, thank you to our service department, our safety forces, and all of those utility workers to get everybody back up and running. I know it was tough there for a few days, but luckily there were no serious injuries here, at least in the township that I heard of. So just wanted to say thank you and thanks for everybody's patience. I do want to remind residents that solicitation is by permit only in the township. We do have a solicitation list, so any resident that would not want to have solicitation occur, they can call into the township and register. When somebody comes in for a solicitation permit, we provide that list, so they should not be bothering you. Just want to remind residents of that. Just want to touch on the special meeting that we had previous to this board meeting, talked about CDBG and CDSG. These are 2 great grant opportunities. We've been successful over the last few years. Hopefully we can continue that trend. So I know there was a lot of good discussion today, so hopefully we can continue those. Want to mention our new fire chief was sworn in on August 10th, Saturday at 11 a.m. It was a very good event. He was with his family, it looked really nice, and we also swore in 2 other firefighters. So that was a good time. I want to congratulate Chief Snyder and welcome to the team. The final thing I have this evening, just want to remind everybody that Wednesday, August 21st, NOPEC will be here in the community room, 2 separate meetings, they're the same topic, from noon to 1, and then again from 5 to 6. And this is to discuss the NOPEC opt-in. So if anybody's interested, please go ahead and attend. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you, Administrator. Next up, we'll move on to trustee committee reports. I believe that trustees Vera and trustee Cole are going to dispense with their reports. The only thing I want to say, and it's not for the cemetery board, is just to reiterate what Gary said. We experienced some really serious weather events recently. And I just want to say thank you to all of our service department workers who were out there on the front lines, clearing brush and making sure things are safe. I want to thank our police department, our fire department, all our first responders for the work that they do to keep us safe every day, especially during those types of freak weather events. I mean, those are the times when, everybody's having to take shelter and, they get a call, they still got to go. So just want to say thank you to all of you for your work during that storm. So with that, I will move on to department reports. First up, fire department, Chief Snyder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. For the fire department, on August 10th, we did swear in myself and 2 firefighters, firefighter James Burrell and firefighter Michael Foreman. For training for the month of August, we continue to do our training Southwest on geriatric skills and specifically Cincinnati stroke assessment and the VAN assessment. We're also completing HIPAA and bloodborne pathogen training through our online platform, which is Fire Rescue One. The equipment and facilities, we're establishing, we're installing new floors throughout parts of the station. It's making a big difference within the station itself. We had some really bad linoleum that was coming up, so it's looking really nice. The grants update for the Ohio Ambulance Impact Grant was awarded for $8,700, and we distributed that to the staff. The Ohio State Fire Marshal Grant application has been filed, and we're awaiting their decision. The Ohio EMS grant has been awarded. The department plans on using the funds to purchase new intubation equipment for our airway kits in our jump bags. The SAFER grant has also been submitted, and the award will be announced later this year. We'll continue our partnership with Tri-C students, and they're conducting their paramedic ride time with our department. And as far as statistics go, we have 1,495 total incidents. It's up 150 from 2023. We've had 86 fire-related calls, 1,082 EMS calls, 53 motor vehicle accidents, 9 carbon, CO2 calls, 9 hazmat calls, 56 general service calls, 15 lockouts, 21 lift assists, 28 gas leaks, 19 for power lines that were down, 16 miscellaneous, and 101 canceled and run. That concludes my report. Is there any questions?
Thank you, Chief. I just want to say thank you for letting Administrator Yowanowski and I attend your departmental staff leadership meeting earlier in the week. I thought it was a great meeting. You covered a lot of ground, and just excited to have you aboard and for your leadership in the department moving forward. And I know I've reiterated to you a couple times the importance, I think, of getting this next SAFER grant to continue to grow our department in the most fiscally responsible way. And we just ask that you continue to work with Gary in terms of getting letters of support going from Senator Brown and Congressman Miller. So, thank you. Next up, Service Department, Director Williams.
Good evening, everyone. Service Department's report for August 15th. Start off with some good news. Stearns Road project. About an hour and a half ago, I drove to the ride, confirmed that the striping is painted on the roadway and that they are telling me that tomorrow it will be open. So my appreciation to everyone understanding that it was a very large scale project and the patience not always there, but we got there on time as promised before school. So those are good things. Cuyahoga County is looking to complete on John Road. They are currently doing some storm basin resetting on John Road. That should be completed next week. As stated, the storm last week on August 6th, my guys have been out there diligently working their tails off. I can't say enough about dedication these young men have. We loaded over 6 truckloads of debris. These are large snow and ice trucks. We had 242 residents that participated, so that's 248 different houses that they're stopping at. I think they did that a total of 4 or 5 days. Anything remaining will be picked up on August 26th, which is our last Monday of the month. That's our typical day that we do branch pickup. So we will be collecting the remaining amount or what normally people would put out. To give you a real quick, I know we got a lot to talk about today. Just an example of the extent or the impact of the storm. There's some final equipment numbers that are still being tallied as of Sunday, August 11th. But outage response crews have repaired or replaced 1,795 pole cross arms, 400 poles, 195 transformers, 189,253 feet of wire or cable. That's enough to stretch across 526 football fields. So not only were my guys working hard, I would venture to say they worked a little bit harder than my guys, which is rare. So there are some opportunities to reimburse some of these funds. There was a webinar that I partaked in through the public assistant. It was an overview with the Ohio EMA recovery branch on Tuesday the 13th. This was to learn about the process, the eligible and the ineligible expenses, and more related to recovery from the tornadoes. So these are expenses that could be reimbursed for my labor, for my guys' equipment usage, and things of that nature. So that's still new. We're still waiting to see how that goes. I'll keep the board posted, but we are filling out the form and we're starting that process. So we'll keep you posted. Just real quick, our guys are out milling, filling asphalt on Fitch. Quite a bit on Shady. Did a little spot on Bagley today. We also will be starting our stormwater project on Shady Road. This is along our new dog park. the remaining this month will be starting it. The police department expansion, we're still working on that. We have selected a contractor in Empire Paving. We are waiting to have a pole taken down by CEI, so we were close, but then the storm hit, so Lord knows where we're at on the list now, so. That's kind of a holdup, so as soon as that's down, we'll be ready to go. Like I mentioned, branch chipping on the 26th of this month. Household hazardous drop off was this past Wednesday at the service department. And lastly, personnel, I just want to welcome two of our newest gentlemen. We've got Bradley Selva and Cody Coxnar. I'm gonna get better, I promise. I vow to never hire people with hard last names. I'm just too good of a guy. So, but I will get better, I promise. But share this, these wonderful.
Thank you, Director. Are there any questions from the board?
So congratulations on, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That road that just opened, Stearns. It actually came in much earlier than was expected, because we really weren't expecting till September.
Yeah.
That was the original date that the county had told us. And that was what listed on everything that we had. So for them to come in early was, I mean, phenomenal. So thrilled, just thrilled. And before school, which is even better.
And just on that note, the light will be taken down on Jennings and Bagley, stop sign installed. So that light was just a temporary light to accommodate the detour, so it will be back the way it was.
And I think Administrator Yovanovski wanted to add something.
Eric, can you update the board on the new piece of equipment you got this week?
Oh, yeah.
I know that's good stuff. So we did take delivery of our beautiful new snow and ice truck, our 106 Freightliner. The body was just completed through Judco. It's a live body. It's really, if you don't know what a live body is, it's a nice auger truck. The augers are in the center of the bed, actually. The bed never has to be lifted to let the salt out. Very common in ODOT. So it's our first truck that's like that, so it'll be very nice. Why does that matter? Well, as you're driving down these roads and you lift the bed sometimes and you don't want to stop, sometimes wires come down with it, so it's nice to have the bed stay down. So with that, I appreciate the board and the residents for the opportunity of this equipment to keep our residents safe, roadways. So, yes.
I had made a comment to put back here, but I do want to just ask, if both of these developments go through and they add residences between that light that's getting taken down, is there any traffic impact with maybe being up, is the increase of the residents between those two parcels that you were talking about before?
Yeah, I mean, that traffic studies take those things into account. Yes, absolutely.
Like, there's the possibility that the lights just gonna go back.
I mean, I wouldn't say in the near future, but it's certainly a possibility depending on public safety and those types of needs. Yes.
All the county light, all the
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, the light, I think.
The light.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we appreciate you being a good steward of township taxpayer dollars and putting people's taxpayer dollars to good use and in the service of the community, and your guys do a great job, and we're certainly glad that the new plow is in. We know it takes time these days for equipment and vehicles to be ordered and actually come in. So congratulations and thank you for being a good advocate to the board about what you need for your guys to get the job done.
thanks. Thank you.
Any update on the leaf front?
I do that, yeah.
Don't get away with it.
Say no way.
So close.
Still at the mercy, well, at the end of August,
Okay.
which you're still saying end of August. The one's our next trustee.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
We should be here at our next meeting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I will have it pulled up there.
If it's not trustee Colton, Eric's not gonna be here. so-
Right?
Yeah. It's gonna be out there welding it. All right, very good. Next up, Police Department, Chief Adam. Yep.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I want to start off with my personnel, and I have somebody that's hitting their 4th year of service. One of our younger officers, it's Officer Ryan here, who's ours. Within last year, he's took the position of a student resource officer. Ryan wears lots of hats, so when he's not in the school, he's also an e-bike operator. He's out riding our bikes. He's a drone operator, and he also supplements our patrol in the summertime and handles juvenile cases. So he wears many hats, and he enjoys really taking on more responsibilities, and he loves the challenges. So yeah, we're very thankful to have Ryan. He's a great supplement to our police department. As we move on to talk about some of our training, we have currently 5 drone operators. We're going to be putting 2 more through the 40-hour course, which is going to be Officers Craddock and Fitterin. They go August 19th through the 23rd, and that's a 40-hour course. That'll put us up to 7 drone operators. And the nice part is, unfortunately, all the drone operators we have right now, all 5, they're on day shift. Our detective and our SROs and day shift personnel. Craddock and Fitterin, though, are going to be they're night turn officers, so they're in the 7P to 7A, so that really helps augment the nighttime. Should the need rise where we need to put up our drone, and this time of night, if you will. We also have one of our defense tactics instructors, which is Logan Kibler. Logan has one thing he really likes to do is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and you're seeing more and more law enforcement using it and to help use of combatants, if you will, and take people into custody. It's just an easy way, if you will, to tie somebody up on the ground. He's going to a symposium, which is August 25th through the 31st. It's a 40-hour class, and it's just all law enforcement centralized trainers that are teaching how it can be better used in the aspect of patrol. Next, moving on to some of our miscellaneous items. Ryan Hare, about a year ago, he was recognized for Life-Saving Award through the news channels 3, 5, and 8. 19, everyone came out and covered it. A gentleman by the name of Roger Lipsner went for a walk at Columbia Park. He became compromised on a hot summer day and fell down. Was able to get up, being 78 and being in the condition he was. He was in a perilous situation. It was quick thinking by our guys that were on duty. They put up the drone, and Officer here was able to recognize and find him through the drone's capabilities. This company is called Silver and Gold. Awards Banquet took place in Independence this past Tuesday. And what they do is annually they recognize officers across the county for heroism and for just life-saving awards and whatnot. Olmsted Township was on the map. We got to go there, and Ryan was recognized and received a life-saving award and for his outstanding work in 2023. So I was very happy to attend that, and we took a lot of pictures, and his family attended. It was just a great event. Also, we had the Drive Silver Get Pulled Over event that was hosted this past Tuesday at the Olmsted Falls High School. And once again, this is just not only just Olmsted Township, but other law enforcement officers within the localized area, Lindale, Brea, and a couple others showed up. And once again, we just covered the ills of driving impaired and try to get that message out to everybody that, you may feel that, you've had a couple drinks and you're able to manage yourself, if you will. Well, they put us to challenges, and what we had to do is we had to wear these, it's called fatal vision impairment goggles, or better known as beer goggles. First, we got to kick field goals at 20 yards and try to just kick them where nothing. And that was hard enough. But then they put the impairment goggles on us, and they range anywhere from a couple drinks all the way up to multiple drinks. And nobody could even kick the football. So really quick, having that simulation of impairment, how your skills deteriorate. And so we just try to get that message across to everyone that, hey, look, you may think that you're safe and you're able to operate machinery, equipment, vehicles, things like that, but you're not. And so it was very good. It was covered by News Channel 5, and like I said, multiple agencies were there. We had Lindale, we had Ohio State Patrol, and a few others. A couple of different things with last Tuesday's storm. My lieutenant came in my office and he said, oh my gosh, he goes, Chief, do you see the tree that's leaning up against the building behind me? I looked out my window. We had a large branch that was leaning up against our building as well. So we sustained a little bit of damage, not much. We were very fortunate, but that leads us to, we're gonna get some quotes from tree removal for the north side of our building to help minimize or reduce the damage to our building, our patrol vehicles. There's large trees there. if one of those were to fall completely onto our station, that would be crippling to us, or if it were to fall onto our vehicles, that could take out a lot of our cars. So I think we need to look at possibly getting those removed. I do like the shade they provide and everything to, you know, the animals and the squirrels that are there, but I just can't look at the risk of that after what we witnessed last Tuesday, having those come down. So we're gonna need some quotes on that. Then also please join us here in the same room on next Wednesday, or excuse me, Wednesday the 28th at 9 a.m. for our coffee with the Chiefs, and come and hang out and have coffee and pizza with Matt and I. We'd love to have you. So please do. I think last time we were up to, there was 28 people. Yes. Yeah, so pretty much almost what you see in this room, a little bit larger than what we had is what we had for our last coffee with the Chiefs. So it is growing. A couple things with equipment. I stopped in ProTech to talk to them about some body armor. They're out of Berea. They are one of our local suppliers for law enforcement equipment. When I walked in, I saw multiple boxes of gas masks that we currently use for our SWAT teams, which are Avon Model C50s. And I said, why do you have multiple boxes of this? What's going on? So these are lightly used for the RMC, and they're going to be just getting rid of them. I said, getting rid of them, like, you know, we could get some of these, and he's like, we'll give you some. I have a little bit different number than what they thought. I wanted like 2 in every patrol car, like 19 or 20. Long story short, they were able to donate 5, protected, and they charged us only $20 for the other ones. These gas masks are in great condition, new from Galls. They're $555.95, with the outserts being $73. You'd be looking, if you bought these new, for $11,950. They're gonna give us 19 of them, likely used for $280. That are gonna go on patrol
That's a
cars.
deal.
And being honest, yeah, that was a smart shot for that.
Yeah, that's
And-
a deal. That's a deal.
Very well, and I said, yeah, we'll take those. So
Yeah.
we're gonna put 2 in each patrol car and admin car. Just, you never know. We have known in the years past where Southwest Enforcement Bureau, our SWAT team, has had to come out and deploy gas. Our officers are on the containment or perimeter, and yeah, we've been affected by it. So we've learned firsthand just in the last couple of years, if you don't have those things, you're in a bad state. So once again, just another piece of equipment that hopefully you don't have to use, but it's there at a very discounted price. Moving on to the last thing is our stats from August 2nd to August 14th. We had 453 CAT entries. We had 15 incident reports. We had 6 motor vehicle accidents. We had 5 physical arrests and 30 traffic citation and 53 community engagements. Other than that, that completes my report, unless any members of the board has
Very good. Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions from the board? Oh,
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you. Next up, Building Department report, Commissioner Reed.
All right, thank you, trustees, members of the community here. I wanted to start out with our staff. So we've recently completed all of our training that's required by the state of Ohio for fraud and drug-free workplace. That did take some time, so it was good to get all that completed and out of the way. Eric Arco, he's our zoning inspector. For a while, he's had his Ohio Board of Building Standards Building Inspector interim certification. The good thing with that is he'll be able to go out and assist with some building inspections when needed, which will help us get out there and perform the inspections a little bit quicker when requested. So that's a good thing for us. And he's hoping to study and take the test to obtain his full certification. He does have about 2 years to complete that. We still have a position advertised for building and electrical inspector. We also added in a residential building official electrical inspector. We're hoping to fill one of these positions, either part-time or full-time, to help perform, those electrical inspections, plan reviews, and that'll help while we're trying to implement new department procedures and our software. Internal projects, our office coordinator, Christine Haggerty, she's been assisting our digital records contractor plan cycle to help organize and prepare a large portion of our paper records to be scanned and stored digitally. She did that on Monday, August 12th. We had a lot of plans rolled up and throughout the building department. And it's gonna be great to have all of that scanned into a system so that we can access it immediately as soon as we need it, instead of going through hundreds of plan sets to try to get information if it's requested or needed for a plan review. So that'll be great. I'm still working on trying to find a software provider. I've obtained pricing from 3 vendors. We're still in the process of evaluating all the factors, including implementation requirements, reporting abilities, ease of use, and cost. We want to make sure that we don't rush that process. We want to find a software that's going to work well. It's going to be cost effective for the township. And it's going to get the job done. We don't have to change it again. So we're working on that. Upcoming projects, we did have a preliminary meeting with an organization that's supposed to be bringing in a new structure and renovations to an existing Orthodox church on Fitch Road. We don't have much detail yet, but it looks like they want to build a fairly large structure there, which should be a great thing for the community. We're going to be having some more meetings with them, and we'll have more information available. And lastly, statistics. In July, it's been a pretty busy month. We took in 93 permits. And the estimated construction value of all those permits was about $2,319,194. So that's in 1 month. Pretty good throughput of applications and projects coming through the township. So it does show we're moving forward and getting things done. In July, we received a total of 17 zoning property maintenance complaints. 10 of those have been resolved, and with the other 7, our zoning inspector is working diligently with property owners and notices to try to obtain compliance with those as well. That concludes my report. Are there any questions?
Thank you very much, Commissioner. I just want to thank you and say that you're clearly doing yeoman's work here. I've certainly had your work cut out for you in our building department, but it's very clear to me, and I think to my colleagues, that you're making tremendous progress in modernizing our operations, making them more accessible for staff, but most importantly, more responsive to the public. So I just want to say thank you on the record for the work that you're doing, and keep up the good work. And with that, are there any other questions or comments from the board? No, good. Thank you. Next up, legal counsel Jim Matthews.
No, nothing tonight. Thank you.
Thanks. Fiscal officer Brian Gillette.
I will be brief. We've been talking a lot today.
Yes.
So we have our 2-year audit still going on. It should be wrapped up here within the next month or so. And then also, as soon as I close July, I'll send out financial statements to everybody. All right. That's all I have.
Thank you. New business items. Let's see. So, make sure. We have one here. Gary, is it in the packet or is it just on the agenda?
I didn't see it in there.
Okay. And it's just a formality, so I believe it's, yeah,
Yeah, so,
yeah, it doesn't need to be voted on, or?
no.
Okay, I don't think so. Yeah, but it's the NOPEC Community Grant Funds reimbursement for the town hall digital sign in the amount of $20,000. So it's always good to not have to use township taxpayer dollars for things like that. So consent agenda items available upon request. Item A, meeting minutes August 1, 2024, and public hearing minutes August 1, 2024. Please take a moment to review the minutes and let me know if there are any corrections that are necessary. Item B, payments of bills and payroll, warrants, vouchers, and EOs. Any corrections, any issues? I know we had one previously.
Yeah.
You're good? Good. Okay. With that, I will move to approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
Okay, and to approve consent agenda items, both A and B, trustee Alden,
Yes.
trustee Cole,
Yes.
and trustee Bear.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, resolution 74, 2024, reappropriation / budget adjustment transfers. I'll move to approve.
Second. Okay, and to approve resolution 074-2024, reappropriation of budget adjustments and transfers, trustee Alden,
Yes.
trustee Cole,
Yes.
and trustee Bear.
Yes.
Resolution 75, 2024 expenditure / department purchase orders. I will move to approve resolution 75, 2024.
Second,
Okay, and to approve resolution 075 2024 expenditure and department purchase orders. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
And trustee Cole.
Yes.
And trustee Zare.
yes,
Resolution 76, 2024 resolution approving general development plan. This is for Pride One. Before we do this, I will entertain a motion from the board first of all, but second of all, I do want to make a brief comment in terms of my position on this. I do think that, making progress in the town center is of the utmost importance, but there are significant concerns around traffic, especially that I'd like to see fleshed out in the final development plan. And I would also just add that there were conditions that our zoning commission, when they recommended approval of this resolution, noted, and I will just read them now. It says, "Would like to see if the applicant can find a way to beef up the commercial portion. This is of significant concern given the large amount of housing versus commercial. The standard things, items for the final plan, such as traffic studies, stormwater, and the general utilities, and then connectivity throughout the community to the town center, because that's another big item within the town center development plan." And it goes on to elaborate about trails and other ways to do that. And the board has invested, and the community has invested in an OHM study to revitalize our town center. And that's something that I think it's of the utmost importance that Pride One be actively engaged with, and that the township be able to dictate the terms of development rather than having the terms dictated to it. And I think we've seen, and it was raised, and the point is well taken tonight, that, there's commercial along the front end. We'd certainly like to see more of it, understand the wetland limitations. But I, would just say that we've seen in numerous other communities for projects like this, that, commercial is promised in order to get residential development, and then that never actually materializes and happens. And I'm not saying that's going to happen in this case. That is a significant concern of mine. And so to make my feelings known on this item, I will be abstaining from this item tonight. And my colleagues are welcome to add to my comments. Hopefully I, summarize some of their concerns as well. And we certainly would hope to see the recommendations from the zoning commission addressed in a final development plan. But I will entertain a motion from the board unless there's anything either of you would like to add.
based on the conditions that trustee Alton outlined, and the engagement that Pride One has taken with Guide Studio in those meetings, and obviously missed the one with OHM. I'm going to move to approve this pull down of the zoning that's currently.
This one is zoned appropriate.
This is zoned appropriate. I'm just pulling down because it's an overlay. So I'm going to approve with those conditions that Pride One work with the township on development of the commercial piece of it. That's extraordinarily important to us. And this is just the first step in a very long process of moving forward and getting some things implemented with the town center.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and to approve resolution 076 2024, including working with the commercial aspects of that. Trustee Alton.
Abstain.
And trustee Cole.
Yes.
And trustee Zare.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Resolution 77, 2024 zoning resolution amendment parcel number 264160004. I believe this is the rezone that trustee Zare was alluding to in her previous comments. And I do want to echo, some of what was said in terms of annexation. I know there are some folks who have tried to make this an apples to apples comparison between the Hollow property and this property, but the Hollow property is extremely challenging, both geographically and infrastructure wise to develop. And this property abuts an existing development in North Ridgeville that would certainly behoove the property owner to annex if we were to reject this zoning resolution. Now, granted, there have been multiple concerns raised throughout multiple public hearings about stormwater and other worthy considerations, and I hope to see those fleshed out when those additional plans come before us. And I think that the folks at Redwood have certainly taken those into account and are have every intention of working through those. And with that, I will make a motion to approve.
I'm going to, before I make my motion, I'm going to say that we did hear everything that everybody had to say, very much so. And this is just the one step in the process. Overriding all of this, and I'm the longest standing member on the board. I remember when Maria annexed that whole section of, along the commercial end on Bagley Road. And at that time, the trustees didn't think it was necessary to work with developers. My hope is that because the developers be willing to work within our confines of what we want to see happen, that they will continue to do so. And the basic reason why I am voting for passage of approval of the rezoning is because I do not want to see it annexed, as many other places in the township have been annexed. So I'm going to move to approve it. I mean, I'm going to second.
Yeah.
Okay, and to approve resolution 077-2024, the zoning resolution amendment to parcel 264-16004. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
And trustee Cole.
Yes.
And trustee Zver.
Yes.
Resolution 78, 2024, appoint alternate A Sanchez to regular member of the zoning commission board. Ashley has been in her short time on the zoning commission already an outstanding alternate, and I'm excited to see her joining the full board. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve resolution 078-2024, the appointment of A Sanchez as a regular member to the zoning commission board. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole.
Yes.
And trustee Zver.
Yes.
Resolution 79, 2024, appoint regular member Jay Funk to alternate member on the zoning commission board. We appreciate Justin's service on the zoning commission. We're glad he's willing to continue to serve as an alternate, but his commitments, I believe, to family and to the school system and his many obligations require him to serve as an alternate rather than a full member. I will move to approve resolution 79, 2024.
Second.
Okay, to approve resolution 079-2024, the appointment of regular member Jay Funk to alternate member to the zoning commission board. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
And trustee Cole.
Yes.
And trustee Zver.
Yes.
Resolution 80, 2024, appoint S. Lowe to zoning commission board. I believe Sean is actually with us, and we're grateful for you bearing with us throughout this long and spirited hearing. Sean, if you'd like to say a few words, you're welcome to.
Sure, thank you. Fairly new residents in the township, moved in November, but background in public service and excited to serve the community here for you all.
We appreciate your willingness to serve. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve resolution 080-2024, the appointment of S. Lowe to the zoning commission board. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
And trustee Cole.
Yes.
And trustee Zver.
Yes.
Resolution 81, 2024, appoint alternate M. Osland to zoning commission board. I'll move to approve.
Second.
Okay, and to approve resolution 081-2024, the appointment of M. Osland to the zoning commission board. Trustee Alton.
Yes.
And trustee Cole.
Yes.
And trustee Zver.
Yes.
Very good. With no further business to come before the Board of Trustees, I move to adjourn the meeting at 8:51.
Second.
Okay, and to adjourn at 8:51, trustee Alton.
Yes.
Trustee Cole.
Yes.
And trustee Zver.
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.
about townships.
I